Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're talking about the show that is blowing up everywhere. I mean, it's all over my free page, all over my YouTube, all over my Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. It's a show that you guys are obsessed with, a show I'm obsessed with. Today, we're talking about Yellowjackets. So, for those who don't know, Yellowjackets is a show that takes place in two timelines. It takes place in, I think, 1998 and 2022, 2021, around that time. So present day. It follows a group of high school girls on a soccer team who are on their way to nationals when their plane crashes and they have to survive in the wilderness for 19 months. A short 5-minute spoiler-free spiel about what I like, what I don't like, before I go into very much spoilers. So we have our main girls, right? So we have Shauna and Jackie, who are kind of like the leaders of the pack. Jackie's very much the popular captain of the team. And you have Shauna, who's her best friend, also on the soccer team. We have Ty. We have Van, who's the goalie. We have Misty, who is like the soccer team manager, essentially. We have Lottie, Lauralee, and some other like side characters like Mari and other random side characters who like are as important. The show is broken up in a past and present timeline. It's about, I'd say about like a 50-50 split between the time. I personally like the past timeline way better. I think that the girls surviving in the wilderness is way more interesting than them as adults, I feel like. And I don't think I'm like, the outlier in that. I know my boyfriend Alex, who watches the show with me, also prefers the past timeline versus the present timeline. So this is very much a show that is, characters not making smart choices. And if that's a show that frustrates you, like a type of show that's kind of like you want characters to make smart choices all the time, this is not the show for you. I personally really like the show. I think season 1 is a really good season. I think for me, without going into any of the details yet, it's a really solid first season. To me, there's no filler episodes. I would say there's some filler scenes, like things that are just kind of like I don't really care about. But in terms of a whole season, it's really solid for me. Like I think I would give the first season an 8.5, just because I know it's gonna get better from here. And as we're already on episode 2 of season 2, I'm already like, my expectations are like through the roof right now, So I'm so excited to see where the show goes. So now we are going to the spoiler section again. If you have not watched the show and you want to watch the show, please go watch the first season, at least watch the first season, and then come back and finish this video. But if you don't really care, or if you've already watched the season, hello, welcome to the spoiler section. This second part will be broken up into 2 parts. So we'll have my season 1 thoughts and my season 2 thoughts so far, and also what my predictions are for the future. So yeah, and so the first thing I want to talk about in terms of just general thoughts are my favorite characters and the characters I don't like as much, And mind you, if I don't say they're either a favorite or I don't like them at all, they're probably just characters I'm kind of like average about, I don't really care for. But yeah, so let's start out with my number 1 favorite character. This is probably not a surprise to anyone. Misty. I love Misty so much. Misty is an icon. She's a baddie. I love that she's played by Sammy Conradi and Christina Ricci. I love that so much. Like 2 of the girls who can play like crazy for sure. I think that Misty gets a lot of hate. I feel like if I was in high school, me and Misty would be friends. Is she a little weird? Yeah, Misty knows her shit. Like Misty knows what she's doing. Like she's on top of it. Like I just love Misty so much. I think she's a badass. I can't wait to see how much darker she gets, because I don't think she's fully, we've seen Misty go a little crazy, especially like when she like purposely pushed over Ben, and when she like cut his leg off and cauterized it without kind of any regard for what he kind of wanted, but I'm so excited to see where she goes from here. We kind of saw her get like a little bit darker towards end of season 1 when they're all around the table and praying to like the forest or the wilderness for giving them food, and Jackie doesn't say the prayer or whatever. And she fully is like, oh, Jackie didn't say it. So we know that Missy's gonna be like on everyone's ass. And now that she has kind of like a little shadow now, I don't know any of the new girls' names. So don't come at me. They may have said their names, but the fact that these are new characters that I don't know because they were not in the first season. But now that she has a little shadow, I think that's gonna give her like more guts and more balls, because now she has someone in her court, you know. My number 2 favorite is Miss Lottie herself, the Antler Queen. I love this so much. This girl, my favorite. Again, this is someone who's like adult and kid casting to me is really good. It feels like the same character, because I don't feel like, because with Lottie, I feel like I feel like you could go a route that's really like dramatic and like really crazy, but the way that Courtney Eaton, and I don't know the adult casting's name, but the adult Lottie plays her is just so subtle. It's like they know their shit, they believe in what they believe that they truly have these feelings and these powers, and you know, they just play her like so subtly. Like you could play like a cult leader, super dramatic, and I feel like, and the thing is like Lottie, she's not even trying to be manipulative. It's like she's not trying to be like a cult leader. She's not trying. I don't think she really ever wanted to be a leader. You know, it just came upon her when she like started getting these like feelings and these messages and all this other stuff. Do I think her powers and visions are fully real? I'll get into that later on in the video. But I love Lottie. I think she is so. I just love her. She's a beautiful woman, a beautiful girl. I love her so much. She's just a baddie in every way. And I just love her so much. Miss Laura Lee. I loved Laura Lee so much, and I'm so sad that she died. And now that we've kind of seen her come back as a ghost in season 2, episode 2, I really want her to like be around as a ghost or like an angelic figure for Lottie in this season, as like, you know, while they're in the wilderness. I really think that it'd be really cool if Lottie kind of saw Laura Lee as like her angel, especially because Laura Lee is the one who kind of like opened Lottie's eyes to, you know, getting baptized, and like this, like you're just like a prophet, and like this is what God wants you to see, and blah blah blah. Like I really do feel like if Laura Lee was still around, I feel like Lottie, I don't know, it could go 2 ways, because I feel like Laura Lee to me feels like she really heavily believes in what she believes, and she believes in like all the aspects of the Bible, right? And a lot of that is like prophets and, you know, people who had visions from God and all stuff. So I feel like she definitely would have not like egged Lottie on, but she definitely would have been like encouraging Lottie a lot. Because I think of right now, the team is very much divided into like, do we believe Lottie's visions? Do we not believe Lottie's visions? And I think that if Laura Lee was still around, she would 100% believe Lottie's visions and 100% be like, oh, Lottie's just a prophet. She's sitting here to protect us and guide us, because obviously it's like she's had these things that have come true, so we have to at least believe some of it. And I feel like Laura Lee is another character that you could really like overplay by her being this like Bible thumper Christian girl. But Laura Lee was just so sweet the entire time. Like she was so caring, so genuine. She saw Lottie struggling and just had her back. And that's why I'm so sad that like she got killed off in the first season, because I really wanted her to stick around a lot longer. Alright, so my next one, who's also on Team Lottie a little bit, is Van. I love Van so much. I'm so excited to see her adult self in this. I hope that she still like has this like cool, edgy vibe to her. I love Van so much. And Van is just such a good friend in general. Is such a good girlfriend to Ty. Like Ty is a character I'm really iffy about. Which I'll get into later on. But I really like Van. Van is just so sweet. Van just has like such a big heart. And so I'm happy that she doesn't die, because I was so worried that they were going to kill off, you know, one of their queer characters, for, you know, because then we would only have one in terms of like their teen years. But I'm happy they didn't kill her off. I'm so happy that she, you know, has Ty's back, because I feel like, you know, especially like seeing who Ty marries later on, who doesn't really have her back at all. It's so nice. It's so nice to see that like Van, as a teenage girl, had her back 100%. Like said, I'm gonna handcuff myself to you, And that's what's gonna be. Even if I have rug burns, I'm still gonna like be tied down to you because I love you and I support you, and I love that so much. Interesting to see like what broke Van and Ty up, because it's like, did they break up because of Lottie? Because Ty is 100% does not believe in any of the stuff that Lottie is saying at all. Like, not entirely biggest disbelievers of Lottie. And so, but like Van is like in it. So I would believe that like that could be like Lottie could be the dividing force between those two. Which sucks because it's like I really liked them as a team, but I do feel like Van's carrying more effort in this, you know, than Ty is. But I love Van. I'm so excited to see her as an adult. We haven't seen her as an adult yet, other than like trailers and stuff like that. But I'm hoping that, like, you know, in this coming up episode this Friday or whatever, that we see her, because I really, really, really want to see adult Van and see how she is. And I really want adult Van and Ty to reconnect, because now that Ty is kind of divorced now, I just really think that she needs someone in her corner like Van, who's, you know, knows what she's been going through and knows what she's been through, knows what she's all, you know, can relate, because she went through the same thing, you know. So yeah, I'm so excited. My last character that I have that I absolutely love is Jeff. I'm just gonna say Jeff because you rarely ever really get to see young Jeff like interact with anyone, so I'm just gonna call him Jeff because I love adult Jeff so much. He is just such a sweetheart. He's such a typical dad, and I love characters and shows that are just like the average dad. Like, he gives off like Phil Dunphy vibes in the best way. Like, he's like, you know, a guy who did peak in high school, and he's full aware of that. He knows he's not really cool anymore, and he's okay with that. He's a little bit dorky now, and he has his daughter who kind of hates him, and his wife who's, you know, off in her own like little world. But I love that. I do hate the reveal that he was one who was blackmailing them. I feel like that was a bit, like, not lazy. It was just like a nice little way to wrap up that plot line. I kind of did want it to be Adam being the, you know, the blackmailer. Because I think it would have been more interesting than just it being Jeff who had read her diaries and all this stuff. And it hasn't brought up anything. Has not brought up a single thing. Being like, okay. Because, mind you, Shauna wrote everything in those diaries. So Shauna wrote everything about being pregnant. Shauna wrote everything about the cannibalism, probably eating Jackie's dead body, everything. And he doesn't, not even like, I don't think he wants to question her, but doesn't even like bat an eye, like, okay, can you kind of just explain this and this to me, please? Like, that's all I'm saying. I feel like he has a right to ask a little bit of a question, just saying. Especially with the first pregnancy, you know, because that was also his baby. And I don't know, we don't know if he knows. I'm assuming he doesn't know. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. But I do love adult Jeff. Like, I feel like, I don't know if they're gonna make the whole show, like if they're gonna last the whole show, but I love Jeff. I think he's such a sweetheart. I think he means well, but just does the wrong things, you know? Again, another person who just does stupid shit, but he means well. I just really, really love him, and he's just so dorky and funny. And when he was singing, what was it? Was it Smells Like Teen Spirit? I'll probably put it in somewhere in here. But he was singing that song in the car, I was cracking up because he was just so mad. He definitely like hasn't like aged at all. And that's the interesting thing about like all these characters as adults, is that they're all so stunted from what happened to them. It's like, yeah, they were only there for like 18 months, or 19 months, however long it was, but they still like never really emotionally matured after that. So I kind of like justify their actions as like, you know what, they're still all, because none of them got therapy really after, like, to address what actually happened, because they all made a pact not to talk about it. So it's like, none of them have ever talked out loud about what has happened to them. And so it's like they're all emotionally stunted. In this moment, it felt like Jeff was just going back to his like teenage boy years, and it was just so funny. And I just love him, and I love the fact that he like saw, you know, that he should just told Shauna what was going on. You know, he wasn't really super mad about the affair. He's kind of like, I get how you can see I was having an affair. The freaking what was it called? The role playing scene is hilarious, because like it's just so like basic man, like, I want you to pretend like you're a customer and I'm helping you, blah blah blah, like, stop. But I love him. I think he's so funny. All right, now getting into characters I despise, characters I cannot stand. These characters I would eat first. If I was in the wilderness and all these characters were there, I'm eating all of them first. Number one, Mr. Travis himself. I cannot stand Travis. And listen, I understand Travis has been through a lot, right? Like, he saw his dad die, and then had to then to unbury him. Well, he didn't do it, he had Nat do it, but essentially had to unbury him to get a ring to give back to his brother. And now his brother oh my gosh. And now Javi's missing too, and it's like now after what Nat did, he thinks that Javi is dead too. Like, Travis has been through a lot, but I also hate him because he's such an asshole. Because it's like, at this point, it's like we've all been through a lot, you know? Like, Shauna's freaking pregnant over here. We're all having our periods, and we have no freaking Advil. Like, we're all starving, we're all freezing. Like, you're not the only person who's been through a lot. Yeah, it sucks because you know your dad's dead. You know that your brother is missing. So, like, all you have to come back to is your mom, you know, because you're the only survivor, as far as we know. But at the end of the day, none of us may see our families ever again. So why do you get the pass to be an asshole every freaking day? Like, I cannot do it. And the fact that he was so, like, he would just make really sexist comments. I think Travis is a huge crybaby. Like, I cannot stand him at all. And, like, I want them to make his character way more complex than they do, other than being like, oh, he had a spine injury and got bullied for it. Like, get over it. I'm mad at Nat for sleeping with the guy that was bullying him before they started dating, and before she even knew that Travis even, like, really even existed. Like, it's just so annoying. He's such, like, a baby. And then we go sleep with her friend because he was trying to, like, prove a point. Like, I just cannot stand him, and I truly cannot see what Nat sees in him at all. Number 2. Alright. At first, I just put adult Nat. But now, I may be a Nat hater. Listen, let me explain. Because I just cannot, like, I was kind of, like, mixed feelings about Nat after a while, because I feel like she just is so against Lottie. Even though, like, Lottie is giving, you know, the team hope. And, like, at the end of the day, like what Travis said to her, physically said to her, like, hey, we're going to need more than just food to survive. If we're going to survive, we have to have hope. We have to have each other's backs. We have to care for each other. Because at the end of the day, if all we're just doing is going out killing and just eating, and just living like barbarians, then, like, what's the point at that point? If you don't have any hope, if you don't have anything, then what's the point of trying to survive? You know? Like, I think, and she's just kind of like, oh, what, she just told you that? Like, I just simply just cannot stand that right now. And the fact that she would, like, fake Javi's death, which, that's gonna backfire her so badly, it is, because I feel like Javi is not dead. I mean, if he was, I feel like they would show it by now. Javi is just not dead. No way. No way, no how. So especially because Lottie said he's still alive. I believe Lottie over Nat right now. Wrong. It's just so wrong. And I think that's the thing that, like, makes him not talk to her anymore. Because, mind you, if we go back to season 1, I want to say it was Shauna or... No, it wasn't Shauna. I think it was Ty who says to Nat, like, you know why he doesn't talk to you, like, you know what you did. So I feel like there has to be something that, like, that this is the thing that makes him not talk to her. Like, at the end of the season, he's gonna come back or something, and, you know, I just feel like he's just not dead. And I feel like what she did was wrong, and I get it. Alright. On to adult Nat. I cannot stand adult Nat at all. And mind you, I love Juliette Lewis. I think she's a very good actress, but this is just not the role for her. I cannot stand her. I think she overacts in every scene. I think she constantly acts like she's drunk. Even, like, we don't ever really see her drink other than, like, a few scenes. And in those scenes, when she's not drinking, she still seems drunk, like, always. I'm like, girl, stop it. Miss Jackie herself, or Miss Snacky, as she is going to be referred to by now. So, I don't think I hate Jackie, and I'm going to go deeper into Jackie and Shauna's relationship later on. But my thing with Jackie is, I think she's just extremely toxic, and I think people love Jackie because she's pretty. Like, I 100% think that if Jackie, like, looked like Misty, or if Jackie looked like Ty, or if Jackie looked like anything that people didn't see conventionally pretty as, like, a white, you know, a pretty white girl, I truly feel like people would just, like, shit on her all the time. But because Jackie's so, like, beautiful and haha and smiles and has big brown eyes, people are like, oh, well, Jackie's misunderstood. No, Jackie's a bad friend. Like, do I think Shauna should have slept with Jeff? 100% no. I don't think that Shauna should slip to Jeff at all. But at the end of the day, Jackie was a bad friend. 100%. And that's why the team was so quick to turn on her, because Jackie, especially when they got into the wilderness, was not thinking about anyone except for Jackie. 100%. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I get that you're mad that I slept with your boyfriend, but we might literally die tomorrow. So maybe you can like ignore that part and just survive with us instead of being petty and trying to like sleep with your friend's boyfriend and trying to rat me out and all this other stuff. I just didn't like how she handled it. Like, I understand being hurt and being mad, but at the same time, it's kind of like, we are here for survival. We're not here for drama. And right now, you're just bringing drama, and that's why she got booted out. And I didn't like how she didn't really help out around camp either. And like, it's a whole thing where it's like people get mad at her because they're like taking notice that she's sleeping in, that she's not getting water, she's not getting food, that she's just really just riding off the backs of everyone else. And I feel like she just expected everyone to have her back when it came down to her, but she didn't have anyone else's backs at all. She literally was gonna let Van die. Literally was gonna let Van die. And I was surprised that Van was so mad at her. Like, Jackie, come on. Like, I just really cannot stand Jackie. I don't think she deserved to die the way she did at all. I don't think she deserved to die at all. But realistically, if Jackie did not die, dying from freezing to death, she would have been one of the first people to be eaten, because she wouldn't have like caved into being a cannibal. It's Miss Mari herself. Mari, I cannot stand Mari. Mari is definitely gonna be the pit girl. I think that it would only make sense for Mari because Mari is like the more important side character. Out of like the random side characters, Mari's like the top of the side characters, I'd say. But she'll probably be pit girl because I feel like she's gonna be one of the girls who's kind of like doesn't really want to do anymore, wants to leave. And in my mind, they might be like, oh, okay, if you can outrun us, then you can leave, you know, because they're gonna have like that pack mentality. So I think she's just gonna die in the pit. I think Mari is just really insecure. She projects like she wants to be on the main team, she wants to be Jackie, but she's just not, and she just sucks. And I hate how she penned the whole "you poisoned us" on Misty when she's the one who put the shrooms in the soup. And she literally said, oh, I put them in the soup, you were holding out on us. Like, those were Misty's to eat and enjoy. Why would, like, what? I just don't understand why she was like, you poisoned us, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, bitch, you poisoned us. So I just hate her. I hate how she's kind of like, she's like, you should be going to get the water and blah, blah, blah. Like, I just don't like Mari. I think Mari will be pit girl for sure, because she just is a bitch right now. My last person I cannot stand is adult Ty's wife, Simone. That's her name, Simone. I cannot stand Simone. I think she's the type of person who's like, once things get hard, she's ready to go. And that's not the type of person who Ty needs. Ty needs someone who's like a ride or die, like a Van. She needs someone like Van. So I think it's really interesting that she like has Van's foil essentially like once things got hard, things got a little spooky ooky, a little weird, Simone dipped. And I get that for their son, blah blah blah. But like, Simone knew she was running for senator, and she knows that was gonna take a lot of her time. So once Sammy started acting weird, why did Simone instantly be like, oh, it's because you're not around? You knew I was gonna be running for senator or mayor, whatever she's running for. I think it's senator. You knew I was gonna be running in the race. So why all of a sudden is it a bad thing that I have to drop out? You're gonna like ride on me, blah blah blah. I think Simone will die. I kind of hope so, and I hate saying that because I love seeing, you know, women of color on my screen, but Simone's just so toxic to me. I think she just, you know, I understand that she wants to help her son, but as Ty had told her, I do crazy things when I sleepwalk. I can't control it. I sleepwalk when I'm stressed and started like after the race, blah blah blah. Like, instantly, if that was me, I'd be like, oh, maybe he just did it. Maybe she just did it because she's sleepwalking, she's stressed out. Instead of being like, you need to get help. This is not good, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, when she's like, oh, Sammy's over here, blah, blah, blah. Was that trippy? Yes, that was so trippy. It's like she was like sleepwalking, but like in the daytime. So it's like now she can't even trust her mind. And like, I feel like Simone could have came about it in a different way versus being like, you need to just get help or I'm gonna, you know, put this out on the news or whatever she said. Like, I'm like, what? No. So now I'm happy Simone's out of commission because I cannot stand her right now. She just sucks. Get it off my screen. Next. Going over my like season, I'm trying to get comfortable. Going over my season 1 thoughts. is number one. Like I said, I already said in the beginning, I prefer the 1998 teen wilderness plotline way more than I like the adult plotline. I think that the I think that the wilderness, that's so hard to say like so many times. I think that them being in the woods is so much more interesting than them being adults. And like I'm not mad that they have two plot lines. It definitely makes it interesting. But obviously it gives away like who survives, because you're like, oh, well, we know like Ty, Shauna, Lottie, Van, Misty, Nat are all gonna survive. Travis survives. We know all of these people survive. So then it's like, okay, well then we're down, like, we know Coach probably is gonna die. We know that Mari's probably gonna die. All the random side characters are probably all gonna die. So it's kind of like, it takes a little bit of like the fun of like guessing who's gonna survive out of it. Because like Jackie, we all knew was gonna die because no one really talked about her in season 1, and also was kind of like, we never even saw any adult pictures of her. You know, nothing. Like her parents like had Jeff and Shauna over and were talking about her like she was dead. So it's like we all knew Jackie was gonna die. But it's more fun to guess like, oh, who's gonna die, who's gonna survive, blah blah blah. Because it would have been way more shocking to see Jackie die if we weren't already lacking her adult presence, you know? Like, also, I cannot stand Cassie or Callie. That's right, Callie. She should also be my characters I despise. Callie sucks too. She just sucks the life out of every scene she's in. It's like they like wrote a very stereotypical teen girl and made it like times 10, and then like punched her in the face and then said, go ahead, go play Callie. Like, I just cannot stand Callie at all. Callie just sucks. She sucks life, literally sucks the life out of every scene. She just is like so, ugh. So I also don't like that about the adult part like either. I think that I would rather have way more background on the girls versus too much adult plotline. The weakest plotline for me is definitely the whole Adam thing. I think Adam was just thrown in there as a red herring for the first season. It's like they only threw him in there as just a character for season 1. But then like after I was like doing like not research, but like looking up things on like Google and TikTok about like who people thought Adam was. So people are still like, it's weird that like he's this up and coming artist that didn't have any Instagram, any social media, any website, had nothing. It's weird that he didn't have like a whole news story about him afterwards, because it's like no one really knew who he was. I don't know. I have a lot of questions about the whole plotline, but then I heard people thinking that when I was like looking stuff up on Google and stuff like that, that people thought he was Javi, which I 100% don't think he was Javi, because I truly feel like if in that moment when Shauna had the knife and said, "Who are you?" like blah blah blah, Adam would have just said, "It's me. I'm Javi. Like, don't kill me. Like, let me explain. I'm Javi. I'm Javi." Like he would have fully explained, because I could definitely see why people thought Adam was Javi, because it's like, you know, Javi was into a little bit of the art stuff. Like I think he made little sculptures, like little drawings for her. And definitely probably maybe developed a crush on Shauna because Shauna was so nice to him and stuff like that. So I could definitely see that, but like, so I don't know. I don't believe that that's a theory, really. I feel like Javi definitely isn't dead. I feel like Javi, this is skipping ahead, but Javi definitely isn't dead. I think that there's more people out on the wilderness than just them, maybe, and he's with them right now, or somehow found some like warm patch of cave that he's surviving in. But then it's like, if he's okay and he's not injured, why would he not just like walk back to at least the plane, you know, knowing that like Travis and not walk there sometimes, like to the plane, or walk back to the what's it called? Walk back to the house, you know, it's like their main camp. I don't know, it's just that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so next thing is gonna be me kind of talking, just going more in detail about the friendships and the dynamics of the team. So obviously we know Jackie, Miss Queen Bee, leader of the pack, and also best friends with Shauna. And I truly have seen so many freaking people post that they think that Jackie and Shauna were in love with each other, especially that they thought that Shauna was not with Jackie, and that's why she was sleeping with Jeff. And to me, I did not get that vibe at all. I personally saw two friends, not see that at all. I personally saw two friends who should have stopped being friends in middle school, but because they already invested so much time in this friendship, that they just kept letting it go on, even though they should have stopped being friends a long time ago. And I feel like they both were, at some points toxic to each other. I mean, you have Shauna, who's literally sleeping with her best friend's on and off boyfriend, and then you have Jackie, who's overbearing, bossy, conceited, things like that, who can be really toxic to her best friend. I mean, it sounds like she pushed Shauna into being into soccer, and even though Shauna's really good at soccer, she doesn't even like it, And it's like she pushed her to wear the red dress at the party. She pushed her to try to hook up with, I was gonna say Topher, with like Ryan or whatever that weird guy's name is. And so she pushes, and we've all had that friend who's very pushy, wants us to go their way or the highway, and it sucks, and it really does suck, and especially when that person's like an overachiever, wants to be the best at everything, wants to just top you at everything. And I think that, to me, Jeff was just like a way for Shauna to get back at Jackie. I personally think that the one thing that, like, I feel like Jackie's the type of, and I personally feel like Jackie is the type of person who likes to be the best at everything, be the first at everything, and just kind of like kill it, nail it, be the top dog essentially. But I think that Shauna's like, okay, what's the one thing that Jackie hasn't done that I can do? And that's, number one, have sex. Number two, have sex with her boyfriend, So I think it was just more like she wanted to top Jackie in that moment. And even Jackie said, you wanted to be me. And she probably did want to be her. I think it's kind of like, when you're so meshed into each other, even to a point like what Shauna says, that I don't even know where you start and I begin. Like, when you're so meshed into each other, it's kind of like, she doesn't know who she is outside of you and does want to be you, but also hates you because you're toxic and off to her. But you guys are also best friends. You guys love each other, but also hate each other. It's very complex, Right, now on to my season 2 thoughts and future predictions. So obviously, the girls have gone cannibal now. I was surprised to see it in season 2, episode 2 especially. I didn't think we were going to get full on cannibal until like later in the season. Like, they opened it up and said, we are going full on cannibal this season. But I'm like, that's the thing, it's kind of like, it's hard, it's like, that's where I believe that there is a lot of supernatural stuff going on, because that was all the supernatural. It's like the fact that the fire was going, it wasn't really burning her body, it was kind of just cooking it, and then the snow falls on it, and instead of just like melting because her body's so warm, it just sits on there and just like insulates it and just baking her body. And I'm like, and the fact that the girls just kind of like wake up and are like in a trance. They're not even like, oh my gosh, it's Jackie, like we can't eat her. Like, it was like they woke up and they were kind of like just like in like a freaking zombie trance. Like, it was kind of spooky, scary skeletons. Like, I was a little concerned. And so that's where, like, I just do believe that there's a lot of supernatural stuff going on in the show. That there's no way that this is all just like in their heads, or all just like, it's all just real. Like, it has to be a lot of supernatural stuff happening. Coach Ben is definitely gonna be next. Like I said, he didn't eat the food with the girls. He didn't eat the food. Snacky. He didn't eat snacky with the girls. So he probably will be the next one dead. And like I said, I think Misty kind of enjoyed eating Jackie. I think she's gonna kind of enjoy it. And I think she's gonna kill Ben, so then they have a reason to like eat another person. That's what I personally think. Because because Misty, I don't know if I've been saying Jackie, but I think Misty will kill Ben, because I think she kind of enjoyed eating Jackie, and I think he's just gonna be next. Not like how Ty approached Shauna about Jackie being in the meat shack. It's just really frustrating, because I'm like, Shauna, like, that was her best friend of like 13 years, maybe. We're just gonna say 13, but of like 13 years. Like, you don't have friends like that. Like, Ty had no friends out like that for that long. And so it frustrated me that she was kind of like being mean or making fun, not making fun, but like being mean to her about the whole Jackie situation. I'm like, to me, It's like, especially knowing that like Shauna was the first, especially knowing that like Ty was the first person that Shauna told about the pregnancy. You would think that Ty would have a little bit more care towards Shauna and be like, okay, Shauna, we can't have Jackie's body in the thing. We have to get rid of it because it's going to attract animals, blah, 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 right? Like something. But no, she fully is just kind of like, Shauna, what the fuck? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, and it made her feel bad, especially when she was kind of like regressing in herself. I felt so bad. And I was mad at Lottie because Lottie was encouraging it. It's like, what does she want her to do? Where did they think Jackie's body was anyways? Because obviously they didn't bury it. So where do they think her body was for 2 months? Like, do I think that Shauna needs to move on? Yeah, but Shauna has immense guilt for what happened. Even though I don't believe it was anyone's fault. I think it was just, a fight gone wrong. But she feels guilty about it. And so it's frustrating that people that Ty was just kind of like, get rid of it, blah, 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 that's not okay. That's all I have to say about those first 2 episodes. It's getting crazy. And seeing the trailers for next episode, and seeing that like they're all like regretting eating Jackie, I don't think that they're gonna regret it for long. One, I think that this season is gonna end in Shauna's birth. I think that Shauna giving birth is gonna end the season for sure. I think that'd be a great cliffhanger for the season. And then we start off next season like her either having a baby or baby R.I.P. I personally don't think that they're gonna eat the baby. I think that I don't think, because I think a lot of people are like, well, that's the like really bad thing that they did, because like cannibalism, you know what, we all can like see how that's valid in some shape, way, or form, but eating a baby is a whole different other thing. But I don't think that they're gonna eat the baby. I think that their bad thing is that like they enjoy eating humans. And I think that that's gonna be their bad thing that they do. I cover more of like the consistent 2 months of them kind of like growing into their cult. Like I 100% think that like this season is gonna be like the cult growing and like Lottie growing into her position as the Antler Queen. Because I fully believe that Lottie is the Antler Queen, and it only makes sense. There's so much imagery with Lottie with having antlers on, or antlers behind her head and stuff like that. And like I think it just makes sense for her to be like the Antler Queen, like the leader of this cult's pack. Especially since she's leading a whole cult back home, so like in present day. So I think that season 2 this season will be the rise of the cult. Season 3 I think would be like the strongest the cult will ever be. Season 4 I think would be like the cult strong but starting to like falter. And season 5 will be like, I think will be just the cult like completely broken up and disintegrating. And I think there's gonna be like a lot more time jumps in the next season, because I mean like we're only on like month 7 right now, because we're tracking time based off of Shauna's pregnancy, right? So we're only on month 7. We're not even like halfway through, because they're out here for like 19 or 18 months. So they still have like a whole other like year to go being out here. So they'll probably make a lot more time skips in like season 3 through 5. Hopefully if they get all 5 seasons, I hope they do. I hope it doesn't end with like a cliffhanger, because I cannot deal with this show ending without like, a real season. So this question is like, is Lottie's power, or are Lottie's powers real? This is a hard question, because I feel like we saw a clip of her as like a little girl freaking out before the car accident happened, stopping her parents from getting into a car accident that may have killed them, And to me, this seemed like this wasn't the first time that this has happened. This has like happened before. So I feel like Lottie does sense something. She may not be like a prophet or the all-knowing God, but I think she does sense things. I mean, there's a lot of things that she said that's come true. I mean, when we look back, all the way back at the beginning, when she first started feeling her powers, like Laura Lee, like when Laura Lee baptized her, and she saw like a huge flame behind her head, and then like a couple days later, Laura Lee died, and in a plane explosion. And then you think about like Van had and then like the river of blood, that was like a red river, and the red smoke, and that was the flare going off. So it's kind of like there's a lot of things that like, and like even the deer that she saw with like all like the blood, like the bloodied antlers and stuff like that. There's just too much, and even like with the bear, like the bear literally coming up and like sacrificing itself for Lottie to kill. Essentially, it was like there's just too much happening to just dispel that it's all logical and there's a reason, and Lottie doesn't have powers. Like I truly think not powers, but I think Lottie does sense things, and she's really in tune. That I fully believe that in real life that people can be in tune with like nature and things on Earth or whatever. But I think that she definitely is one of them, and I think that it may go to an extreme later on. But I think right now she means well, and she's just trying to help. And I think that she truly does think that Javi's alive. That's why I believe Javi's alive. So I don't know. So I feel like a lot of it is probably in the girls' heads. I feel like the longer you're here, the more you egg each other on to be like what's real, what's not real. But I do feel a lot of it is really just supernatural too. I feel like it's a good like 60% is supernatural, 40% is just in their heads and stuff like that. And I hope they get answered, at least most of them get answered this season. I'm so excited. I love the show. I hope you love the show too. And thank you for tuning into this video. This is probably a long one. Just listen to me talk. I'm on my couch. I thought it'd be cozy and comfy. It was. And now Miss Mabel has joined us for the end of the episode. And thank you so much for listening, tuning in. And please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what you'd like to see on this channel. And I will probably not do another Yellowjackets video until the end of the season. Just because it doesn't make sense to do like a week by week recap. But I will see you guys very soon with another video. Alright. Bye! Say bye, Mabel. Hold on. She's licking herself. Now she's looking at me. Say, hold on. Stop it! Say bye! Bye!